Welcome back, everybody. Today is day 7. Today's the last day. I am going to do a bonus day. So there's going to be a bonus day for tomorrow, just to kind of put everything together into one video. And we're going to talk about different stuff on the bonus day. It's not going to be a recap of everything. So it's new stuff, but just to wrap everything together, because when we're dealing with manifesting, dealing with how to get this stuff to work for you, there's really a lot of stuff. It's kind of hard to explain. It's simple, but yet it's so simple it can be difficult. You get what I'm saying? But anyway, today's day 7. Today we're going to talk about acting as if. Okay, and even though this is simple, okay, there's one of those things that it's simple. It's simple to say, well, act as if. Act as if you already have your dream car. Act as if you already have your dream job. Act as if you're already a millionaire. Okay, it's simple, but yet difficult. You get what I'm saying? Now, I've been to a lot of Jack Canfield seminars. Now, one of the things that he would do, like, now I don't know if he really coined the phrase acting as if, but that's what he called it. But he would actually have like a acting as if gala where he would have a gala at nighttime at one of the days of a seminar, sometimes the last day or the last evening of a seminar, if it was like a 3-day seminar. And the gala would start maybe like at 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. or 5 p.m. to 10, something like that, like a dinner gala. And the whole point of the gala is when you show up, you're acting as if you're playing that part. It's almost like you're playing a movie part. Like if you want to be an author, that's all you want to do. When you showed up to the gala, well, you're a best-selling author. You're a New York Times best-selling author. You wrote 5 books. It's on the New York Times best-selling author list. And the whole point is that's you the whole night of the gala. It's a pretty special experience. Uh, but another way to kind of put this too, Neville Goddard. Now, Neville Goddard never kind of said that, acting as if. Now, Neville Goddard says you live in the end. Means the same thing. You live in the end. You dwell within. You dwell in the end. Okay, so it means exactly the same thing. He's just explaining it different. You're acting as if you're living in the end. And when we're going on here, when we start talking about Neville Goddard, one of the first homework assignments I want you to do here is I'm going to put a video up here. It's called I forget what it's called right now. It's called "Dwell Within" by Neville Goddard. It's something like that. I'll post it here. I'll put a link in the description for it and a link I'll pin a comment, and in a comment, the video will be there. Watch that video because that goes very deep. And I did it really well, rather than kind of rephrase it here, because I took it out of, Never Goddard had one of his books. And in the books, he had a really great example of dwelling within. And, I went through that book, I went through that example, and the video turned out really, really well. So that's your homework assignment. Watch that video as well to kind of deepen that aspect. Because when we start talking about living the end, acting as if, a lot of the questions I get is, well, Chad, I don't know how to act as if because I don't know how to feel. I don't know what that feeling is of me having what I really want. And I think that's where people struggle. You don't know how you would really act, having a dream house, having a dream car, having that dream salary, how you would really act, if you were a multimillionaire. And I get it. And this is where this takes a little bit of work. This is where, when we're going from day 1 to day 7, and if you haven't done your homework and maybe you binge watched them, go back and do it the right way. Watch one video per day, and you ponder this stuff per day. Or if there's a homework assignment, you do the homework assignment for that day. Then the next day you go off and do video 2 and 3 and 4. But you break it up by day, because what you want to do is you want to, again, you want to get very, very, very specific on what you want. But when you're doing all these homework assignments, it's helping you when you come to day 6, when you're living inside your imagination. And it's helping you when you come to day 7 almost the finale of it is how are you going to behave? How am I going to behave when I have my dream house? How am I going to behave when I am a multimillionaire? Okay. And this is what I want you to do. As one of the things is when your imagination creates reality, when you're going to bed trying to influence your subconscious mind, I'm looking, make sure I have the, making sure I have the camera recording. Lately, I've been getting in a habit of that. I'll be off on a great big topic. The video will be really good. I happen to glance. I'm not even recording. Uh, we have to make light of the situation here. Um, but anyway, kind of another assignment I want to give you, and this isn't, this isn't really a hard assignment, but this is going to come from if you're really actually influencing your subconscious mind. You're going to sleep at night trying to get in that feeling state of your wish fulfilled a little bit, your intention. You're trying to imagine having your dream house inside your imagination. But what I want you to do is now, when you do this stuff at nighttime or before you take a nap, is really pay attention to who you are inside your imagination. And this might not, you might not be able to do this in one day. You might have to do this for a little while. But I want you to start paying attention to the version of you inside your imagination. And I know this sounds crazy. I know this sounds far fetched. I know this sounds new age. You know what I mean? But what I found was when I would be really into it, when I would just have that special night where I finally will just go inside my imagination so easy, and I'm really in tune to it for whatever reason. I just really go into it and kind of get lost in my imagination and actually drift off to sleep. But what I found was when I started to pay attention to the version of me inside my imagination, this is what I noticed is that it's a more successful version of myself. Okay, you get me on that? Maybe you have experienced already, but you never thought about it that way. And a light bulb pops off, and like, oh, you're right. When I go inside my imagination, and I can, I'm in my dream house. I'm walking around, having my day in my dream house, inside my imagination. What you'll find is that version of you is carrying yourself different. Okay, it's a more successful version of you. So that's really the whole point of acting as if, because that successful version of you in your imagination, you have to meet that person. That successful version of you isn't going to come down and meet you where you're at right now. You got to come up to that person. Okay, you got to come up. You got to be more successful. You got to be, it's kind of like when you think about personal development and you want to be a millionaire. Well, you have to work on yourself. Okay, you yourself has to become a more successful version of yourself, because there's certain habits that a millionaire is going to have, or they're going to have more successful habits than you have right now. So, like when Bob Proctor used to talk about, using all types of names in this video, when he used to talk about vibration, your dream car, the reason why you're not manifesting it is it's on a different vibration. It's on a different vibrational frequency. Okay. Your dream job, your dream salary, it's on a different vibrational frequency. Okay. You got to come up to that vibrational frequency. Okay. That's the only separating point. Okay. So let me give you an example to kind of uh, make this make a little bit more sense. Is let's say I want to be a multimillionaire, and and right now, let's say I don't really do this no more, but I used to. Is when it came time to pay bills, I would like flip out. You know what I mean? Flip out kind of internally. Like I get all worried. Whenever bill time comes, maybe you have maybe it's for first of the month, maybe you have maybe most of your bills are due middle of the month. So when you sit down and do your bills, you're kind of having a mini panic attack. Is that you? Okay. Well, what happens is those are scarcity habits. Those are poverty habits. I mean, if you were a multimillionaire, when it came to pay your bills, would you be having a little mini panic attack? Would you get all anxiety? Would you be like, oh, it's time to pay my bills? I mean, some of us act like this. Maybe I'm exaggerating it a little bit, but some of us act like this internally and sometimes externally. Okay? I mean, if you're a multimillionaire, you had $15 million in the bank right now, you would just pay your bills and think no thought of it. That's what I mean. You know, a millionaire, you as a millionaire, you're not going to care when it comes time to pay your bills. Yes, you might argue that, child, you have bigger bills, because you might have your dream car, you might have a Porsche or something like that, and that's true. But when it comes down to pay your bills, just regular bills, you pay your electric, you pay your mortgage, water bill, your internet, your credit cards, and all that stuff. You're not going to have a mini attack, a mini panic attack. Okay, you got to remember, the separation is keeping you from being a millionaire, making more money, is because you have scarcity habits. You have poverty habits that you're doing every day that's been ingrained in you from growing up, and you don't know you have them. And those are the things that are holding you back. And those are the things when you start acting as if you're already a millionaire in your 3D world. This is my 3D world right here. Okay. Surrounded by buffalo. This is my 3D world. You gotta start carrying yourself and being a millionaire. And the frustration phases in this is when you start becoming aware of your scarcity habits. You start becoming aware of your bad habits. You start becoming aware of your mind going in the gutter all the time. You start becoming aware of this. And once you're aware of it, even for me, once I become aware of my habits, sometimes it can be frustrating. I mean, sometimes it's easy to beat yourself up. It's easy to kind of think like, oh, no, this isn't working. It's like my mind keeps on going in the gutter. But it is working, okay? Every day you're getting better and better and better. Every day you're getting closer and closer and closer to your dream house. You just don't see it. It's invisible to you. It's invisible to me. So this is the key to manifesting. Okay? Let me quote like a scripture to you. Is like in the New Testament when it says ask, believe, and receive. This is all over the New Testament. And it's pretty much all over almost every single religion. Okay, listen to what it says. Ask, believe you already have it, which means you live in the end, you act as if, and then you receive it. It doesn't say ask, believe, but try to control the how, try to figure out where's it coming from, where's it at? You know what I mean? How am I going to get the money for this? It doesn't say that. It says ask, believe you already have it. That's what believe means. That's what belief means. That's what faith means. Okay? When someone says have faith in something, sometimes you have to interchange these words to help you out a little bit. Someone says you just need to have faith. What does faith mean? Faith means belief. What's another word for belief? It means you expect. You expect it to happen. You expect to get it. When you truly believe something, you expect to get it. When you expect something, you can demand it because you expect it. I mean, think about it this way. As a kid, when it came to your birthday time and your parents ask you what you want for your birthday, well, as a kid, it's so easy to have it. You should just write down like you can fill out the whole flipping page. But they say, what's your one thing you really want for your birthday? As a kid, what do? You tell them, you tell your parents, and you expect to get it on your birthday. But what was amazing as a kid is you're so unattached from it. You expect it, you say what you want, you expect it, but then you go off and you play with your friends all day long, do whatever you're into. You just, but you expect it. as an adult, we lose that side of us for some reason. We grow out of it. You know, it's taught out of us. It's beat out of us. Whatever you want to say. So this is a separator. This is a giant separator. Is is when you ask for something, you ask for your dream house, you ask for your dream car, you ask for that. You want to be a millionaire, multimillionaire. Ask for that dream job, that dream career. Then you believe. You believe you already have it. So that this is the point of this video. You believe you already have it. You act as if you already have it. And then you receive it. And this is what I want you to do. This is the third homework assignment. The third thing I want you to pay attention to. Start off with simple things. Now this is what I kind of been doing is starting off with simple things. When simple things manifest in my life, maybe it's a cup of coffee. Maybe you're thinking about, I'm gonna get a free cup of coffee. I'm gonna get a free cup of coffee. Then one day you walk into Starbucks, you order your favorite coffee, your favorite drink. Then they say, oh, it's free today. Oh, it happened. Okay, then when these little things happen, you you become aware of it and you think, okay, what was my state? Okay, how was I behaving? How was I how was I carrying myself? Most of the time you let it go because you were unattached from it. Okay. And I mean at this point, the best example, I'm gonna put another video here for you to do some homework on. And this is Neville Galder's ladder technique. So watch that video. I'll put that video inside the description as well, and I'll pin it as a comment so you can watch that video. And in order to actually work with Neville Goddard, he gave people the ladder technique, and the ladder technique had to work for you. Okay, that was a prereq to actually work with him, for him to mentor you, because he wanted to make sure that you truly believed the law of assumption was real. Okay, that's why he came up with the ladder technique. And I'm not going to explain it so much here. I want you to watch the video. But the whole purpose of him picking a ladder was because you were unattached from it. You weren't attached. And that's why lots of times the ladder technique would work for you. Okay. And this is why lots of times that the reason why you're not manifesting your house, your dream car, you're not manifesting what you want, is because you're too attached. You're too attached to it. It's an unhealthy attachment. Think about it this way: is when you're in a relationship, and it's not even a relationship at that point, you like somebody else, but in that beginning phase, sometimes if you really like somebody and you want them to like you kind of grow that unhealthy attachment around them, where you kind of be obsessed, or you're obsessed with your phone, like when are they going to text me? When are they going to text me? You know what I mean? And that person lots of times can feel that energy from you, and it tends to kind of stay away from you. Because remember, force negates any type of friction. You're forcing something to happen that negates from you. Okay. This is what you have to understand. Any type of friction. If I'm trying to physically force something, it wants to repel from me. If I'm mentally trying to force something to happen, it will stay away from me. So that's what you have to understand. Force negates any type of force, any type of friction. Okay. This is the same thing as when you're trying to control the how. When you're trying to control the how, okay, what that means is that you're not living in the end. You're not acting as if, okay. When people are trying to control the how, and you're asking yourself, how can I make this happen? Well, right then and there, I'm going to stop you and I'm going to say, you're not living in the end. You're not dwelling within. You're not acting as if. You're not acting as if you're a millionaire when you're already questioning, how am I going to become a millionaire? You see what I'm saying? When you're trying to control the how, you're not acting as if. The how isn't your concern. I know this is so hard to do. The how isn't your concern. The how isn't my concern. Again, the view is beautiful down through there, huh? The lighting's perfect here in the morning. Got some amazing views here when I do these videos. But the how isn't your concern. You have to understand this. And this is so hard. I mean, this is so hard to break. This is why I want you to focus on manifesting simple things, paying attention to it. I manifested a cup of coffee, and start off with simple things. And when they start working, you're going to notice 100%, like, oh yeah, I did this. Like, I did this. I fell asleep at nighttime, wanting a free coffee. 3 days later, I got my free coffee, but I totally forgot about it. And this is when like manifesting has really worked for me. Is is it's always been I just basically just totally forget about it. And sometimes I can totally forget about it just for a couple of days, and it will just come into me. It will just come to me. This is why you got to pay attention to simple things as well, not just big and large and ginormous things. Those are fun as well, but you got to pay attention to simple things because you got to look at it this way. This is what Neville Goddard said with the ladder technique. He said, for those people that basically they tried the ladder technique at work, they came back to him because they wanted him to mentor them. And he said that this is the breaking point because when the ladder technique worked for you, you could have just as easily manifested $1 million. Listen to this, okay? This is like a spear in the heart. When the ladder technique worked for you could have just as easily manifested $1 million. If the ladder technique worked for you could have just as easily manifested your dream house. If the ladder technique worked for you could have just as easily manifested your dream car. Huh, isn't that comical a little bit? When you manifested that simple cup of coffee, free cup, your favorite drink, maybe it's a Frappuccino, maybe it's caramel macchiato, Americano, whatever. You manifested, you got it for free. You could have just as easily manifested your dream house. It's that simple, it's that true. There's no separation. Remember, the subconscious mind will give you exactly what you're giving it. There's no separation. It doesn't matter how much things is. It doesn't matter how far it is away from you. That's what you have to understand. If you manifested a free cup of coffee, your favorite drink, you could have just as easily manifested your Porsche. You have to understand this. You have to use this stuff to get more confident. Okay. That's why I tell you, pay attention to the small stuff. Don't forget about the small stuff, but pay attention to it because it increases your confidence. It increases that manifesting works. The buffalo's coming down through here. He might walk right up to me. We'll wait and see. He's making some calls out. I don't know if you can hear him. I have my mic on. It might basically dampen out. He's doing some buffalo calls here. And this is what I noticed with acting as if. This will help you out too. Is I'll give you an example of one of the things I manifested is I met about a year ago. I set this, and last time I was in Thailand, because I go back and forth. I go home, visit my family for a few months, and I'll come back to Thailand. And the last time I was here, not this time, the last time I was here, I came up with this robotic affirmation. And I would always say, every time I would think about when I would go home and come back, I'd always state to myself, sometimes out loud, sometimes to myself, I would always say, oh, when I come back to Thailand, I'm coming back on a year visa. I'm not going to constantly have to jump through hoops and constantly have to do tourist visas, whatever. When I come back, I'm going to come back on a year visa. And if you know anything about living abroad and being under the age of 50, being under the retirement age, it can be kind of difficult to live abroad. So I would always say this. Then I developed this bedtime routine. I would see myself, since I've been to Thailand, traveled abroad a bunch, and traveled international. It was easy for me to produce that feeling state in my imagination, so I could see myself, getting on the plane, something I'm playing, going through immigration, landing in Bangkok, walking through the airport, going through immigration, handing them my year visa. Then I came up with that robotic affirmation. Was every time I would think about it, to kind of to produce that feeling state of acting as if, I would always say, "Oh, when I come back to Thailand, I'm coming back on a year visa. When I come back, I'm coming back on a year visa." Always say that like a robotic affirmation. Guess what happened? When I went home, I, last time I went home for a few months to visit family. And when I went home, I didn't even think about the visa. I was so in the habit of saying this. It didn't even come to me at all. Like when I went home, I didn't even think about my visa at all. What visa I was going to be on coming back. It completely just left me. And then the first thing you got to do is book your flight. You need to book your flight. You have to have your flight before you file for your visa. So I was home about a month and I booked my flight to go back. And when I booked my flight, I just booked my flight. I gave it no thought on my visa because I just trained my mind to kind of let it go. Then it came down to 4 weeks before I was leaving. I still didn't have a visa. So in that 4 weeks, on that fourth week, I was like, oh, I have to sit down and file a visa. But at that time, I had no clue what visa I was on file. But when I sat down to actually file, a week prior, Thailand, this was in mid-July, Thailand came out with a brand new visa. It's called the Destination Thailand visa. It's a 5-year visa for digital nomads. Now there's a couple categories in there that other people can get it. You don't have to be a digital nomad. But it's kind of nicknamed the digital nomad visa, but the Destination Thailand visa. It's a 5-year visa. Multiple entry, meaning I can come and go as I please for 5 years. And I can stay for up to a year each time. So you can stay up to 6 months, do a one-time extension while I'm here for another 6 months. So I can stay a year in Thailand without having to leave and come back. And when that happened, I was just like, holy crap. I got my attention. I got what I said. But amazing thing happened. I started paying attention to living the end and acting as if. And what I noticed was after I got my visa, listen to this, after I got my visa, it didn't feel any different. It felt like I already had it. You get me on that? Because when I went inside my imagination, produced that feeling state, fell asleep in that state, then during the day, I came up with this robotic affirmation because I was already in Thailand at the time. So every time I would think about my visa or a visa issue, I would say, "Oh, when I come back to Thailand, I'm gonna be on that. I'm gonna be on a 1-year visa. I'm gonna have my 1-year visa." And that was kind of kind of a weird and awkward feeling because it felt like I already had it the whole time. See, and this is what I'm talking about. When things happen, when things manifest in your life, no matter how small, you kind of have to dissect it a little bit. And another thing happened along the way too, is that once I already sorry, my sorry about that. I had to clear my throat. I have no water out here. But another thing happened is that once I already had my visa, you know what? When you're thinking about acting as if, living in the end, when you already have something, like my visa example, when I already have it, I completely let it go. I'm not thinking about it. Then once in a while I think about it and I'm grateful for it. See, that's another thing to throw in there too is be grateful. Be grateful that you're a multimillionaire. Be grateful you have $15 million in the bank. Be grateful that I can help people that I want to help. Be grateful that that I or you, that you can buy anything you want. Be grateful for that. Okay? If I want it, I can buy it, period. Come up with an affirmation from that. If you want something, you can buy it. Okay? It just comes down to if I want it. If I don't want it, that's fine because I don't want it. But if I want it, I can buy it. I came up with a robotic affirmation for this one I put a video here. This is my shopping affirmation. Watch that video. I'm in Thailand when I'm doing it. But it's a great video. I'll put it down in the description as well for another homework assignment for you, another video to watch. But every time I would go shopping, and I did this in a grocery store, I would tell myself, I can buy anything I want in here. Because it's true. You know what I mean? When you're in a grocery store, nothing's too expensive for you not to buy it. Okay, so that affirmation becomes true for you because it's producing no conflict. So every time I would go to a grocery store, and I got in such a good habit of doing this, every time I went to a grocery store, I would walk around, tell myself this: I can buy anything I want in here. Every time I buy something, I get it's repaid by me by double. I make double the money back every time I spend money. Every time I spend money, I make double. I make double the money. And a couple of weird things started happening to me when I kind of did this. Is that one time I went to this car show here in Thailand down in Hua Hin, and they had all luxury cars. They had like McLarens, high end Porsches, Lamborghinis. But now I'm walking around looking at all the cars. I I didn't even like think about it. I just automatically went into it. Like, oh, I can buy that. I can buy anything I want in here. You get what I'm saying? I'm looking at high end cars. Probably the cheapest car there was probably $200,000. So you gotta do this stuff. You gotta do the homework. You gotta stay in the game long enough to get good at this. And this is the thing as we wrap this up, as I know we've been going on for like a half hour now, is you have to stay in the game. Okay, you can't stop. You're not gonna master this in one day. This isn't a manifest anything in 24 hours thing. Okay. This takes a little bit of work. Okay, this takes a little bit of work, living in the end, acting as if, no, how would I really act? How would I really carry myself? Okay. Same way with my Thailand example, my visa example. Okay. I'm not like, I already have my visa, but I'm not waking up every day worried about what visa am I on? Where is it? Okay. I'm not waking up every day running to check my passport. I keep this folder of my visa in because you print them out now. And I open up the folder to make sure I still have my 5-year visa. I'm not doing that. And this is what we all do. I do it. I do this stuff too. Okay. You want your dream car? You wake up, you look outside in your garage or your parking spot or your parking lot, wherever you park, your driveway, and you secretly tell yourself, well, it didn't happen today. If you lasted this long in this video, do you do this? You looking out there like, I don't see my Porsche out there. Or you wake up, and as you wake up, you get out of bed, you start, when your mind kind of fully wakes up, you're looking around and you think, I'm still in my regular house. I'm not in my dream house yet. And I know you guys do this because I do it. I'm not the only crazy one. But you do this stuff every day in and day out. That's the bottom line. Okay? You messed up yesterday, today you woke up, today's a brand new day, and you start over again. Okay? And you're become better and better at it. And you have different points throughout the day where you're totally immersed with is that feeling state, but you're awake, you're in your 3D world. You have moments throughout the day where you're really walking around like you're a multimillionaire. You start noticing where you have moments throughout the day where your mind will just drift, and you'll have such a real moment like you have your dream house. Like you're gonna drive home after work and go to your dream house. You have moments like that. And all that means is it's becoming closer and closer and closer to you. Okay. This is why you can't give up. This is why I say, pay attention inside your imagination, because you want to pay attention to that version of you inside that imagination. Is that version of you going to freak out when you pay bills? Is that version of you when you walk out and get in your car, drive to work, and you look at your tire and it's flat and you have a temper tantrum over it because now you got to go spend a couple $100 to replace the tire? Make sense? These are all just scarcity mindsets. Okay, another great one that we all probably have done is, you go out to eat with your friends, you're in a restaurant, and it's a type of restaurant that you have to stand up, you go and pay your bill, And maybe there's a group of you, maybe there's 4 or 5 of you, 4 or 5 of your friends, and you slowly, you're standing, you're standing up front, then you kind of notice it. Oh shit, I'm kind of up front. Like, they might want me to pay for all this. And you just nonchalantly, like, kind of start shimmering yourself back to the back of the line. You know what I mean? I've done it. Okay. I see people do it when I pay attention when I go out to eat. Okay. That's a scarcity mindset. Would that successful version of you do that? If you had $15 million in the bank right now, would you do that? And you might be saying, yeah, Chad, but, I can hear that. But I can't really afford to do that. Hey, that's fine. But you have to understand, when you're living in, dwelling within, you're acting as if you have to already act like you have, because you do have it. That's what you have to realize. You do have. It's already yours. Like, once you say it, once you envision it, it's already yours. That's what you have to understand. It's yours the once you said it. But all you're waiting on is the fruition of it in your 3D world. That's all you're waiting on. That's why when we wrap this up, that's why when it comes back to ask, believe, receive, something so simple like that, when you ask for something, you ask for that dream car, that Porsche 911 twin turbo, or you ask for that lifestyle. Maybe you want to travel, maybe you want to live abroad. Okay. You have to believe that you're already doing it. Okay, you have to carry yourself that you're already doing it. And that's when you have to be aware of your self-talk, your inner conversations, like Neville Goddard, your thoughts, your inner thoughts, and how you're answering questions. When you talk to your friends, how, your guard's down. When you hang out with your friends, your true friends, lots of times our guard is down. Like, meaning the real you will come out, how you really talk. So you start paying attention. I've done this, and sometimes I still fall in that trap where somebody will ask me something, my guard's down, and I answer it. But when I walk away from that conversation, I'm kind of like, why did I answer it that way? Like, why did I? If they say, "Oh," if they ask me something simple, "Oh, how's your day?" Besides saying, "Oh, it's great, it's fantastic, I'm having a blessed day," I might just say, I have like a little thorn on my toe. I might just say, no, it's going okay. Or I might be in a little depressed mood at that time. I'd be like, oh, it's okay. You get what I'm saying? Is we catch ourselves, and we're all human. And we're all human. We're all gonna falter back from time to time. But when we falter back, we don't let that affect us. We just do it again. It's the same way as if I say, I call what I want into existence. When I go out to eat, when I go out to eat tonight, I'm gonna have VIP service. They're not gonna make no mistakes with my meal. Everybody's gonna know who I am. The meal's gonna taste amazing. And guess what? Let's say you do go out to eat, and the opposite happens. It's not VIP service. They made tons of mistakes on your stuff. It doesn't mean that manifesting don't work. It just means the next time you go out to eat, you do the same thing. Hey, I'm gonna have VIP service. I live in a condo in Thailand. Most of the time, condos in Thailand, it doesn't come with like personal parking spaces. It's just open parking. So every time I leave, when I'm leaving, I'll tell myself, when I come back, I'm gonna have the best parking space here. You do that stuff because that's a more successful habit. You're producing more successful habits that meet that person where you want to be. That's all it is. That's the simple separator. Your dream house is up here, but right now you're down here. That vibrational. So you got to come up to that thinking level of that person having that dream house. But other than that, my friends, We went over a lot of stuff, acting as if, living in the end. You know, it's not like a clear cut thing. I mean, just to be honest and transparent, it's way harder than what it really is because we all have bad habits and we have to kind of work through these bad habits. We have scarcity habits, poverty habits. You got to get away from all those bad habits so your rich lifestyle will come in. Bottom line. But as we end this and wrap this up, really the homework here is don't give up, don't give in. Keep on working, keep on plugging forward. Each day is a new day. You made mistakes yesterday. Well, today's a new day. Yesterday was in the past. Let the dead bury the dead. And keep on trucking. Don't give up. And I'll end it with this, as I ended yesterday. As Neville Goddard said, when he talks about law of assumption, that he's never seen it fail. In his whole career, he's never seen nobody not get what they want. He's never seen nobody not get their attention. He's never seen it. He's always seen everybody in his whole career, everybody gets what they want. But he says a big but to this. He said, but the only way you fail is if you give up and you quit and you stop. That's the only way you fail. You have to remember that. And you have to remember, you know, this is a 3D world. Our 4D world is invisible to us. You know, the great thing to see here, if you want your dream house, you want your dream car, your dream career, your dream job, you want to be a multi-millionaire, you want millions of dollars, whatever that money is, what happens is, you see this tree right here? I can see it. But when most of you stop and give up and you throw in a towel, this is how close your dream house is to you. This is how close your dream car is to you. This is how close your dream job is to you. This is how close that multi-million-dollar lifestyle is to you. This is how close it is to you when you give up. But you can't see it, it's invisible. But if it was visible, 100%, you wouldn't give up because you would see it. You would see your dream house right there. I can literally walk 10, 15 feet and go to my dream house. That's how close it is to you, but you just don't see it. And this is something I've learned over time is that when we have that immense feeling of giving up, this is how close it is to you. And this is why I remind myself, this is how close my dream lifestyle is to me. This is how close it is of me walking over to the tree. That's how close I am to my dream house, my dream car, my dream job. That's how close I am. I just walk to it. And you give up and you throw in the towel and you stop. Don't do that. And I tell myself this all the time. Like every time I just have that immense feeling of giving up and stopping, I can tell myself, dude, I can literally reach out and touch my dream career, my dream job. I can touch it. I can taste it. It's right here, right in front of me. But the only thing is, there's a big but. I just can't see it. That's it. And you can't see it. But other than that, my friends, this wraps up through my shoe. Oh my goodness. But anyway, I'll go get my shoe later. Um, but anyway, this wraps up the 7-day manifesting challenge. We are going to have a bonus, so I'm going to do a bonus for tomorrow. The bonus will be another topic, but it wraps up everything together. It's not a review, okay? It's a bonus, so it's not a review. So I don't want you to think that. But anyway, I'll see you tomorrow for the bonus section. And blessings to you. Hang in there. Don't give up. And everything is coming to you. I can feel that. I can see that for you. You're gonna have everything you want. Just hang in there. Don't give up. Blessings to you. Comment below. I'll help you out as best as I can. And peace. Happy New Year. New Year, by the way. This is 2025. 2025 is going to be our best flipping year. It's going to be an awesome year. Year of blessings. The year of all your attention, all your wants and desires are going to happen for you in 2025. I can feel that. Looking at the Thai buffalo out here, they're all kind of like looking at me. That's where you can kind of see them out there. They look like little twigs. But anyway, peace out. See you in the bonus section.